Hi, fellow trader. I received a lot of questions about my reversal trades, how I find them and how I trade them. So I felt the easiest thing to do would be to do a video kind of going over how I find them, how I vet them, and, how I trade them. But the first thing is, I find these using my scanner. I've got one in Thinkorswim, and right now it is unpopulated. But they'll give me live feeds throughout the day as tickers set up. This one gives me a lot more dead bounces than anything else, so I have to do a little bit more work with the Thinkorswim alerts. Um, but a couple weeks ago, I did get a subscription to Trade Ideas, and it's the exact same one that we use in chat. Um, if you have the Warrior Pro bundle, I think, or some of the other bundles, you get the scanners along with it. This is the same thing I downloaded from the cloud that everybody else does. And I use this throughout the day. When a ticker hits, either this one or my Trade Ideas, the first thing I do is I pull it up on, the 5-minute chart so I can see what it looks like. Get a bird's eye view of it. Is there enough room between where it's trading and the VWAP for it to make sense? Where are the moving averages, the 9 and the 20? Where are they in relation to where the ticker's trading? If everything looks good, then I switch over to the daily chart and I start marking, out my daily levels. Now, a lot of times when you have a chart that's real congested like this, I just kind of blow it up, and from wherever that ticker is trading, I'm going to look for levels, around that area. So, this one, I think it was close to this level when I first started looking. So I started looking for dips, obvious areas of support on the daily. And here's a dip right here, 64.18. And so I drew the line here, and it came up to 64.20. That was, close enough. But then I started looking back to see if there was another day that lined up with this. And here's another one right here, low of 64.21. And, if I see a couple days where I've got a dip at the same level and bounce back up, I know there's some support there. And I found another one, I think right here, where this dipped down, where it washed out here, then it bounced up. So that was another level right here at 63.93. And I found another one further back at 63.98. But I just want to find areas of support on the daily, because I'm not going to take a reversal trade unless it's bouncing off support. If it's not bouncing off support, you're not going to get a sustained move. I mean, yeah, you might, but odds are you're not going to get a sustained move. So I'll wait, and you'll see as it's coming down, it'll try to fool you. This candle made a new high relative to this candle, and then this candle opened and it sold back off. This candle didn't make a new high, but you can see it can fool you and trick you into getting into a trade thinking it's going to reverse. But so I always wait for it to hit support before I actually look at trading it. So in this case, it came down and it hit this support, and I got a candle here that made a higher low. I could actually take this for about a 50-cent scalp up to the 9. It's not bad. 500 shares at 60 cents, that's not a bad scalp. And I'm expecting it to hit this, so I would take profit at the 9. Watch it come back, test support again. This time it tested this support. And then it moved up. Well, right here, the 9 is too close. So I'm going to wait for it to clear the 9 and ride the 9 up to the VWAP. As long as this doesn't close below the 9, I'm in the trade. And I'm going to take it, profit target up here. So, I mean, theoretically, you could have gotten 2 trades out of this, or got in here, took half off at the 9, wait to see what happens with the other half. It's going to come back and test it. You want it to see it come back and test support. Once it gets over the 9, you can add that half back and be in full size up to the VWAP. That's another way you can trade it. I wasn't in enough size, here. I was just in full size, and I didn't really trade it down here. So had I traded it down here, that would have been, my plan. This made a new high. This was a nice gap up to here. Go in, take half off here. Once it comes back and tests it and clear back over it, add another half for the run, be back in full size for the run up to the VWAP. And oftentimes you get a second trade. This is either going to test VWAP and fail and come back to support, or it's going to hold it's going to push the VWAP, hold above it, and then pop off of it. And you want to see this consolidation, because the more it consolidates here above the VWAP, above the moving averages, the stronger it's going to get, and the more likely it's going to give you a nice move up. But this actually gave you another chance, because you lost the moving averages here. This will be a good short back down to VWAP for the first leg, and then from the VWAP back down to support, which just acted as support again down over here. You might have taken some off here. You might have gone all out, because this still was a nice move. But, if you held it all the way back down to support, you had a pretty good trade. And I think I saw a couple people in chat did short this, the backside of this move. So, that all of these are plays you can get off of reversals. I mean, if you stuck to this one ticker and traded it from here up and then from here back down, this could have made your week. Especially if you caught the 5-minute opening range breakdown, from here. Here we go. We've got a reversal hammer. If the handle is up at the top, that tells me that it's gonna come back down. It's a good chance. It doesn't always, but this tells me that there's a good chance this is gonna come back down. It's gonna wash. So this was a good 5-minute, opening range breakdown trade, all the way back down to, this support before it bounced. So you could have got one trade, could have split this trade into 2. This would be 2 trades, 3 off the VWAP, and 4 down here. So 4 trades on one ticker using reversal. Let's see. The next one I looked at was FOXA. But just to get real quick, this is the screens I'm looking at when I'm actually trading a stock. Because what I'm looking for it to the daily chart to line up with the 5-minute, and then the 2-minute is what I'm going to use to get my entry. So you can see here, this came down and this held. This support right here held. This came down, this support held. This candle opened. That's when I got in. You can see this was at 11 o'clock. I got in after this hourly candle showed that it held support. Now you don't have to wait for that, but that was just another confirmation to me that this, was going to make the run back up. So let me go back. FOXA was another one that hit our scan. And this one really gave you an opportunity again to short it on the way down, because this hit my reversal scanner in here. And you see what happens if it doesn't bounce off support. It made a nice little move up, 50 cents. So this, you probably couldn't trade this because of this candle, but it made a nice 50-cent move up, hit this resistance, faded back. It's not bouncing off support, so these moves aren't going to get any strength. Now this one surprisingly did get over the 9, but got stuffed right here at the 20 and came straight back. And this is why I won't take reversals unless it's bouncing off of an area of support. This is a surefire way to tell me that this thing is going to reverse. Now this didn't make it all the way down. It reversed before it got there. And you see this, I didn't get in this trade. It was just stupid. I'll tell you in a minute. But if you got in right here, that was an excellent entry. This thing never really tested or came back. It just pushed through the 9, pushed through the 20, and kept going. Now the fact that it didn't test the 9 and it just popped through the 20, I still should have got in. But what happened, this candle was so large, and I'm working on $100 max loss. My stop's usually going to be a close below the 9, but if it washes and it hits my $100 max loss, I'm out. So had I entered here on this candle, my risk reward wouldn't be right, because if I entered, I probably would have entered here at 28.90. The 9 was down here at 28.65. That's 25 cents. If I'm in 500 shares, that's gonna take my, that's more than $100 loss. But I wait for a candle to close below it. So I need to add 5 to 10 cents if I can on the other side of this before it hits my max loss. And that's what I was looking at, and that's what kept me out. But it wasn't until the 9th that I thought about it, and I was like, man, you're stupid. All I had to do was size down. Instead of going in 500 shares, I could have gone in 300 shares or 250 shares and, took the trade that way. That would have kept my risk reward, solid. And once this 9 moved up and it got closer to it, I could always add to my position, for the run up to the VWAP. And it's something that it just slipped my mind. I didn't even think about it. And, it's just one of those things. Sometimes you're just not focused. You're not 100% in. And this kept me out of this nice trade. And, it consolidated here. Never broke the 9. Pushed up past VWAP. Took, consolidated a little bit here. Then popped up to this area right here, resistance. This was a nice trade. It gave you a little bumps, but no reason to stop out at all. So, this is what I look at when I'm trading reversals. I love these. These are my favorite. It just depends on the market. The market has to be trading, pretty well for these things to work. If not, these reversals usually fail. But now I think they're coming back. I traded these like February, March, April, May, and you could get 2 or 3 moves on these. Just like the one I showed you earlier, where you could have got 4 moves on it. On a reversal, on a bottom reversal, you can get 2 moves. Or if you catch it early and you're not on support, a lot of times it's a safe bet to short it using the 9 moving average as your guide as it's coming down. Just depends on the setup. These are just other things you can look at and other things you can add to your toolbox, for a setup that you like. I think I covered about everything. Again, if I didn't, if you have a question, just don't hesitate to email me or contact me. Here's my contact information. I added my Skype on there. I didn't have that on there earlier. But this is all my contact information. So if you want to ask a question, just feel free to, reach out. Be glad to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'll pretend that I do know. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. I'll find the right answer. But I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll see you in chat tomorrow.